Hey there, moms. Convention of States Michigan is here for you. Welcome to the series premiere of TimeOut with my COS moms. So take a second, grab your tea, grab your coffee, grab your cocktail. It's time for your timeout. Constitutional knowledge. Okay, first, as you can see here, I have my tea for this evening as well, for my timeout, right? So let's do that. Welcome to the series premiere of Timeout with my COS moms. We're going to take a few minutes here every other week or so to be able to talk about important constitutional information, stuff that you can share with your kids, stuff that you can share for yourself, be able to gain some knowledge for yourself as well. So constitutional knowledge is crucial to be able to teach our kids, because at its heart it is the moral and the ethical and the true historic account of our country's being, of our existence, of our soul. So let's arm ourselves, take a few minutes to be able to arm ourselves with the appreciation for all of these types of topics as we take our time out together. And for this evening, I have my tea with my "I saw that," said every mom ever mug, and I've got a little bit of a scratchy throat, so I'm going with the peppermint tea here this evening. So to kick us off on this series premiere, ladies, to start us off, what we need to know first is what Article 5 is, why Convention of States even exists, why we're here doing what we're doing, why we're working as hard as we are to be able to pass all of our resolutions and to, across all of our states, across the entire country, and how Article 5 explains how we, the people, can actually legally, peacefully, and orderly put the federal government back into its constitutional box. So it makes it pretty clear on how we are able to do that. It's not an easy process to actually walk out and accomplish. It requires a lot of hard work, but it's definitely worth it, and definitely something that all of us need to know, and something that we even need to be teaching and instilling for our kids as well. So to start us off, to introduce Convention of States and what Convention of States is doing for all of us. Convention of States Action is a national grassroots organization that's working within the parameters of Article 5 to hold the first ever Article 5 Convention of the States. Article 5 refers to Article 5 of the United States Constitution, so the big one that is under glass in Washington, D.C. So Article 5, within the Constitution, there's 7 articles total. Article 5 is the section that deals within the Constitution of explaining how to amend the Constitution if it ever becomes needed. So thus far, there have been 27 amendments to our federal Constitution, including the Bill of Rights, which are the first 10. So far, all of these amendments have been passed and ratified using the first method of amendment that's been proposed, that is prescribed and proposed in the Constitution in Article 5. So the first method simply says this: the first method of amending the Constitution allows Congress to be able to propose amendments, pass legislation, and then have those amendment proposals ratified by 2/3 of the states. So clearly, the federal government is included in that process. They're the ones leading that process. They're the ones that, and this particular, this first process, this First Amendment process, involves multiple branches of the federal government along the way. Clearly, they're very integral in that kind of first part of that amendment proposal. So, luckily, our framers also prescribed a second method of amendment. So it's under this method, under this second method, that the Convention of States Action is working to actually hold its Article 5 convention. So Article 5 also allows 3/4 of the state legislatures, so the states, to be able to come together, hold a national convention of all of those states, propose our own amendments, bypass Congress and the rest of the federal government, and then have those amendment proposals ratified by 2/3 of the states. So what's interesting to note here is that no matter which method you choose, the first method with Congress, the second method with the Convention of the States, ultimately, no matter what, 2/3 of the states have to ratify any amendment proposals before anything becomes legally binding and becomes an actual binding amendment to the Constitution. So we'll get into the weeds of all these different types of amendments that can be proposed at a convention, who gets sent to the convention, how a convention works, all those types of things over the coming weeks. But for now, your timeout big picture is this. The framers of our Constitution actually wrote a way for we the people to be able to meet together, propose ideas for slowing down an overburdensome federal government, and to be able to have our own ideas, and to be able to have those ideas incorporated into the Constitution. So this method of constitutional amendment requires vigilance, some responsibility, and a lot of hard work. But it's there, and it's intended for us to use when necessary. So now you know. Make sure your kids know too. So if you have any questions along the way, feel free to go ahead and email me to askmi, I'll write it in here for you, at cosaction.com. The best way, so you can always email me if you want to get some more information, or if you want to look into this a little bit more. If you want to be able to volunteer with our team, I'm more than happy to get you pointed in the right direction at askmi@cosaction.com. Another good place to go to for great information is to follow us on all of our social media accounts. This peppermint tea is coming in handy. Be able to follow us on all of our social media accounts. So our Convention of States Michigan team is active on 7 different social media platforms. So you'll be able to find us somewhere. Obviously, you can see me here on Facebook. We are on Twitter, Instagram, True Social, Rumble, YouTube, LinkedIn. I might be missing one. So the easiest place to go for that, if you want to be able to follow us in any of those platforms, and you'll be able to get some more information. You'll be able to see more of these videos as we post more along the way, as we post more timeouts for COS moms along the way, and any of our other videos, any of our other content. The best place to go to for all of that is going to be to go to the actual homepage for Convention of States Michigan. So let me get that for you. You'll be able to see any events that we have coming up, all kinds of good stuff. There you go. And that's enough to get you guys started for this week anyway. So take your time out, moms. Convention of States Michigan is here to be able to help you. We are here for you. We're here to answer any of your questions, and we're here to get you guys some great civics and constitutional based information from here on out. Thank you. We'll see you again in a couple weeks.